Hi guys, Miss Francis here. I'd like to continue our discussion of osmoregulation. Today we'll take a look at osmoregulation in plants, and we'll take a closer look at osmoregulation in humans. We did a lab a couple of days ago where we looked at the stomates of two different types of plants, and what we observed was that the number of stomates was relative to the environmental condition that plant grew in. For example, certain plants have certain methods of water conservation. So if I lived in a dry environment, I might not have as many stomates because I don't want to lose as much water. I want to conserve my water. Organisms like Elodea that are completely submerged in water don't even have any stomates because their water can just diffuse via aquaporins at any point in time, so they don't need to have stomates. Xerophytes, which are plants that live in dry habitats, they can withstand prolonged periods of water shortage because of their adaptations, for example, their limited number of stomates. Another type of plant, succulents, which are cacti, for example, they have large amounts of water that can be stored. So if you break open a succulent plant, you can actually get water from it. Other plants will have modifications such as needle-shaped leaves. They'll have sunken stomata. They'll have thick, waxy cuticles, all in an effort to do osmoregulation. Humans have also adapted for excretion in order to do osmoregulation. We have special organs that are designated just for this purpose. For example, our kidneys are going to excrete urea, a small amount of uric acid, water, and salts, and that's going to be excreted in the form of urine. Your lungs are going to excrete carbon dioxide and water. That's going to be in the form of a gas. So water, it'll really be water vapor. Your liver is going to make the urea and make the uric acid that's going to be excreted by the kidneys. And your skin is going to excrete water, salts, and urea in the sweat, in perspiration. So let's take a closer look at one of those organs that humans have adapted to aid in excretion. And let's look at our kidneys. So you'll notice that we have two kidneys. They're about fist-sized organs, and they're on either side of our belly button, carrying blood to the kidneys that contains toxins is the renal artery. That blood will then enter the kidney and be filtered. What leaves the kidney then through the collecting duct is your urine, and that's going to travel through the ureter for storage in the bladder and then be eliminated from the body through the urethra. Because you have two kidneys, you're going to have two ureters. However, both of those ureters meet at one single bladder. Now, if I were to zoom in on the kidney and cut it in half to look at a cross section, we would notice that the kidney has different parts. The inner part is the renal pelvis. Whenever you see that word renal, think kidney. The renal cortex is the outermost part, and the renal medulla is this middle part, medulla for middle. Now, the nephron is the functional unit of the kidney, and the nephron stretches between the cortex and the medulla. So part of it will be found in the cortex and part of it will be found in the medulla. Now, once that urine exits the ureter, that's where it's going to head to the bladder. Once this blood has been filtered, then it's going to head out of the kidneys back to the blood is going to head out of the kidneys back to the body via the renal vein. So let's take some notes on these essential parts of the kidney. So you have two kidneys. The kidneys filter metabolic wastes from your blood. It's what produces organ. The renal artery is the blood vessel that carries blood to the kidneys from the body to be filtered, whereas the renal vein does just the opposite. It takes that filtered blood from the kidney back to the body. We have two ureters, one connected to each kidney, and then both meet at the bladder. What they do is they carry that urine from the kidney to the bladder. Your bladder is a muscle that can expand, and it's going to store urine. It's like a pouch almost. And the bladder has nerves where messages get sent to tell the bladder is full, which enables the urethra to release the urine out of the body.